Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's quite bright out here.
It is quite bright. So I've just had my first disastrous lock encounter. So we're travelling back from Oxford now. So we've been stopped in Abingdon for a little while, and set off this morning and just been through Culham Lock. Didn't realise that it was a really deep lock, so it's 7'11".
It's quite a deep, vicious lock.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. So sort of got into the lock, tied my rope round the T-stud on the front, on the bow, because I'm always on the bow.
You don't tie it to it, do you?
Well, I don't tie it, no, I just sort of loop it around,
then,
yeah. Just because it saves you actually just having to hang on to the rope, it gives you a bit of leverage. Have done that through countless locks, no problem whatsoever.
It was a lock keeper that told you to do that.
It was, yeah. It was
on the way up.
Yeah, because I used to just always hold on to the rope, but obviously the Vivere is quite a big beast, and it can be quite sort of quite hard work. So if you use the stud, it just sort of gives you a little bit of leverage, and it's not quite such. It's not so heavy. It's not so much
it takes
work.
a bit of weight off of the rope, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The boat do the work for
so I did that like I normally do, and going down nicely, absolutely fine. Just sort of letting the rope off as we were going down. And then what I hadn't noticed is sort of the loop that sits around the T-stud. Had risen. My rope was sort of on top of it because of the deep angle, the steep angle. And obviously went down quite quickly. My rope got locked to itself, but was making a bit of a creaking noise, and luckily I was thinking, oh, it was still going, and then it just locked. So I'm trying to sort of wiggle it. The lock keeper said, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "No, I think my rope's locked up."
At this point, the back of the boat was drifting right across the other side of the lock, and almost pulling my arms out of the sockets, and I thought, I can't hold this.
Which I didn't realise.
I didn't see the front. I can't see the front.
No. The lock keeper said to me, "That's fine, don't worry." He said, "I'll just refill it a bit." So I should have really radioed to Richard to tell him what was happening. I didn't, but I was just panicking a little bit because of the front, so I didn't sort of think about getting on my radio to tell Richard. So he started refilling it.
Well, when you refill that lock, there's these two big flaps that just open like that behind you, and tons of water just gushes through. Right by me, I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? The gates are collapsing. The sky is falling, Chicken Little.
Chicken licking, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. The actual steering wheel, because of the angle of it, flew round like you wouldn't believe. If you'd had your hands near it, you'd have broken your fingers. I was just like, oh, I don't know what's happening here. We're meant to be going down, not back up.
And the lock keeper was really calm. He said to me, "Don't worry," because I'm trying to wiggle it, thinking, oh. He said, "It's fine." He said, it'll loosen. Don't worry. So
yeah,
we sort of rose up a bit.
Brought the lock back up by about a foot.
Yeah.
And you loosened the rope off. He reclosed all the sluices, didn't he? And then we started to go back down again.
Yeah. This time I held it rather than wrapping it around the stub, but it does make quite a big difference.
Yeah, it's just the drop.
Yeah.
The drop and the angle lifted the ropes.
Yeah, so if you're going through that lock, it's very deep, and just watch your ropes.
Just check the book. Look in the book, and if there's anything over sort of 5 foot drop, then I wouldn't go round a T-stud.
No.
Or if I would do, but then if you started to see the ropes coming close together, is unhook it off of the T-stud and go back to normal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can do it on the back one, but then when the angle changes, it pops off anyway.
Yeah.
It just throws it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our first lock.
Near disaster.
Yeah,
it wasn't a disaster.
Just a bit of a learning curve, wasn't it? It was just oh dear.
So anyway, catastrophe averted.
The sun's come out.
Sun has come out.
Woo!
Still got a jumper on in August.
Yeah, it's a bit breezy, but the sun's out, and it's actually nice and warm today.
Yeah.
It makes a change.
So we're gonna Oh, we're hoping to maybe find the bridge where the Poo Championships.
World Championships.
Oh, was it World Championships, is it?
Yeah, Days Lock.
Happens. Days Lock, so.
Well, we've got another lock to get through first. Then we're going to go through Days Lock. Try and get water. And then moor up and go into Dorchester.
Yeah, see what Dorchester has.
If we can find the moorings. Our friends that came down before couldn't find them.
No, they couldn't.
We might end up just tied to a tree.
We will see.
It's an adventure.
It's all an adventure. That's the whole point.
Oh yeah.
So we've just stopped at Days Lock because our engine was making a really strange noise.
It was alright until about 1400 RPM, wasn't it?
Yeah, about 1400 RPM it just started making, I don't know, can't even describe the noise really, but a little bit of a funny noise. So
Like the oven trays rattling around.
yeah, it sounded, sorry, Richard's down in the engine. It sounded a bit like when our oven trays rattle when we're sort of cruising, which they always do, which we're used to, but it's not, it was definitely coming from the engine. So Richard's having a look now to see what's going on. So he's just loosening that belt to see whether it was that was making the noise or not. So there we were, happily cruising along on our way back.
It was a nice day.
It was, yeah. We were hoping to get to the lock where the World Poo Championships happened.
Days Lock. Well, we did get to Days Lock.
We did get to Days Lock, but before we went through the lock, we'd started hearing sort of weird noises in the engine.
Yeah, sounded a bit...
Yeah, I think we'd said that it sort of sounded like when the oven pans rattle. It wasn't. No. So hoping that maybe it was just like one of the belts, like slightly slipping.
It did sound at the front of the engine, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it was nothing to do with the engine.
No, Richard got down there, had a little look, sort of did some adjustments and stuff. It did seem to sort of disappear first of all, didn't it?
Yeah, we started it out and it was like, oh, the noise is gone.
Yeah, so we went through the lock. Okay. And, well, what happened, because you were driving it, what did you notice?
We got through the lock all right, and then we got out of the lock okay. And then it narrows off. It gets quite narrow down there, doesn't it? And then there's a turn and there's quite a few slow wiggly bits where you really need to take the revs up a little bit just to get the front to swing round a bit quicker, and that wasn't happening. No. The revs were going up, but it was like, this doesn't feel right. Yeah, there's no engine noises, was it? There's no horrible noises, but there's just no propulsion.
Yeah.
And we sort of got round the corner and we were down to, well, it was basically down to idle to get it to move. Snail pace.
Yeah, and so you were sort of trying to rev it up, and I was looking out the back to see if basically
what the wash was like.
Whether the wash was increasing as he increased the revs. and it wasn't.
No.
And you put it in reverse, didn't you?
Yeah, and we could see the wash then coming past the doors. It was pretty... I think it was still down on power, because normally it will stop quite quick and then start reversing quite quick, but it wasn't, was it?
No.
I mean, it did start reversing back up the river, but it was nowhere near what it normally is.
No.
So then we thought we need to stop and have a look in down in the weed hatch just to make sure that was all clear.
Yeah, because that was our first thought. I said to Richard, well,
oh no,
if
perhaps we pick something up in the lock.
Yeah, maybe there's something in the weed hatch. So we sort of just went down on the river a little bit on idle to where we'd seen on the map where there was some moorings. It's basically wild moorings.
With little gaps in between stinging nettles and bushes.
Yeah, so we spotted a little gap, because if you've got a little gap, obviously...
If we can get the back into it...
Yeah, you can get out, and we can get out with the dog as well.
Well, at least we could have then got out, put a pin in, and then been anchored so that we could get down into the weed hatch.
Yeah, that's right.
So dig around.
So... luckily it was quite difficult, because obviously you didn't really have any
power. You couldn't power the front round to then get your angle of reverse, because you'd put it in idle and you'd wait for the front for about half hour. Yeah. And by then we were starting to drift down the river, weren't we? So we managed to jiggle across and get quite close. And
then a really nice couple from the boat that is now behind us.
I don't know the boat name, actually.
I don't, but they said, "Oh, do you need a hand?" We were like, "Yes, please."
We're having engine or gearbox issues.
So they came running over, and we threw them the ropes.
From a back rope, yeah.
And they helped sort of pull us in. So thank you very much. We really,
much
really appreciate it.
Otherwise, we could have been trying to get in for about half an hour.
Yeah, it would have been quite difficult.
It would have been, and then swim for it.
So we checked the weed hatch, absolutely clear, nothing in there at all.
Proper spotless.
Literally nothing. We thought perhaps we were dragging a quilt, didn't we?
Yeah, or something, but no, nothing. It's completely clear. Even the rudder's all clear. Everything is not. There's nothing. There's not even a bit of fishing line around it.
No, there's nothing in there at all.
No.
So then we basically realised after some
looking.
Yeah,
well, we had all the decks up, didn't we? So we put it in gear. When you put it into forward gear, it goes into gear. The prop turns. But then as you slowly take the revs out, the prop doesn't get any quicker. No. You could see it turning and it wasn't getting any faster, was it? You put it in reverse and revved it up, and you could see it speeding up. Yeah. Nowhere near what it should be. No. But it was speeding, this prop was speeding up with the revs in reverse, but no, I mean, you could have it at 1500 RPM and it was still going around about idle speed, wouldn't it? Yeah. So something's happened inside the gearbox.
So our gearbox is a bit kaput. So yeah, that's the update so far, but I guess we wanted to find Dorchester on the Thames, and we did. We found it, yeah.
There it is.
By chance.
Yeah, so everyone, a few of our friends that went past and couldn't find it, we found it.
Yeah, we did find it.
And we're stuck here.
Yeah. We're going to explore though. We're going to make the most of it.
The weather's not too good today. It's a blue sky.
I can feel the heat of the sun already on my legs.
Yeah, it's nice.
So. Yeah, there we go. Let's see what happens. Please come out and rescue us. Please.
Quickly.
3 days later.
3 days later.
We've finally been fixed.
As you can see, we're moving.
We're moving. So it wouldn't have mattered stopping for 3 days, but we were pretty much in sort of nowhere. There was a shop, at least there was a shop that we could, oh, that's the radio.
Excuse me.
That we could get some supplies. But apart from that, that was sort of pretty much it really. mound that you could climb.
Yeah, the mound. There was 2 clumps.
Clumps. That was it, clumps. But that was pretty much it. So
I mean, it was beautiful.
yeah,
It was peaceful, and it was a lovely place to stop if you'd planned to stop.
which we had for one night.
We were going to stop for one night, yeah, because we had plenty of water for one night and then carry on the next day. We had a sort of 2 days worth of water easy.
Yeah, but not for 4 nights.
We didn't really plan on staying in the middle of nowhere wild camping for 4 nights.
No. So anyway, great big thank you to Simon from Oxford Marine Services, who came to our rescue.
Drove around the field,
Yeah.
right next to us. He was brilliant.
Brand new gearbox, which I guess we're just unlucky after just, what was it, 92?
92 hours. I mean, things go wrong.
But yeah, we've got a new gearbox and we can notice the difference actually.
It's a completely different boat.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So we wonder if it was a little bit faulty from the
It
start.
might have been going for quite a while and we hadn't really noticed. But yeah, now it's a lot better.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. I mean, I know we moaned, didn't we, about them breaking down, but they did do a good service.
They did do a good service.
Engine
yeah.
Plus were on the phone instantly, phoning around everywhere. Got hold of PRM, and the chap at PRM, I've forgotten his name. He was straight on the phone.
Yep.
He did everything he could possibly do, really. He was really good.
Yeah.
So I know it was 3 days, 4 days, but you know, these things do take a bit of time.
But can highly recommend if you're up towards Oxford End, Oxford Marine Services. I think he does have
Simon Bishop.
a chap down sort of the other end of the Thames as well. So
Oh, he's brilliant.
Look him up on Google if you ever need help, because he's brilliant, really, really good. So we're on the move.
We're
we need
going
to find
again.
some water now.
So we've got 1 lock to do, and then we stop at the next lock, don't we? Is it Cleve?
Yeah.
Which is the longest distance between 2 locks, typical.
And we can get some water.
We're going to fill up with water, we're going to walk into Goring, get some food, stock up the cupboards. I've run out of snacks. And yeah, we'll probably spend the night there, won't we?
Yeah.
And then move on the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to change the scenery. I mean, I've got to know all the sheep in the field by name.
There were a lot of sheep.
There was hundreds. We could hear them all night.
So yeah, good news. We are so happy.
Yeah. Oh, what a relief.